Well, hello and welcome. Welcome to my world. Welcome to Talk Leadership with Cedrick. You know, everybody needs a little TLC, and I am Cedric LaFleur, your host. I'm excited to be here with you tonight. You know, Talk Leadership with Cedric is where we focus on leadership and personal growth with business leaders, educators, and local thought leaders. Our goal is to introduce our audience to leaders who are making an impact with innovative ideas. Our guiding leadership principle is the law of consistency, which says motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you going and growing. See, you have to develop the good habits that lead to success. Just showing up is 80% of success, right? See, some people don't even show up. So you can beat pretty much everybody pretty easily if you consistently show up. You know, Bruce Springsteen once said, a time comes when you need to stop waiting for the man or woman you want to become to start being the man or woman you want to be. So, tonight, folks, we have another dynamic leader on our show, and I'm excited to introduce you to retired Lieutenant Commander Charmin Jacobs. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Glad to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, awesome, awesome. I'm excited that you're here. So every week I like to do a proper introduction of my guests. So audience, let me really introduce you to Charmin Jacobs. She's served more than 22 years in the United States Navy, building a stellar reputation for fairness and influential leadership. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Human Resource Management and a Master's of Education, and she's also a candidate for a second Master's. Talking about consistency here, folks, right? A second master's degree in human resource management, which is slated to be completed here by the end of this year. Charmin is a best-selling author and holds certifications in diversity, civil treatment training, and is a certified speaker, trainer, and coach with the John Maxwell team. She understands that leadership is influence coupled with a masterful balance of personal and professional development across all aspects of life. Her organizational skills are the ingredients that push her to the top of the leaderboard. Now, Charmin is the CEO of Teachable Learnable Solutions LLC and TCJ Enterprises. She is also the COO of Travel Concierge Partners. She is also an active board member for Envision Lead Grow, where she is building leaders for tomorrow. Now, Charmin received the 2018 Courageous Generational Women's Leadership Award for Community Service from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women for her unmatched service to her community. She currently resides in Washington, D.C. Charmin is married to Letitia and is a proud co-parent of 5 wonderful children. Now, anybody that is doing all of that and co-parenting 5 children, wow, you know that's the law of consistency right there.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for
So,
that introduction. Appreciate it.
absolutely. So, thank you for coming on the show. I'm excited about having you, and I'm excited about the conversation that we're going to have today with our audience. So, Sherman, you know, I've read your bio, but you know, a lot of times the audience want to hear directly from you. They want you to bring your bio to life for them. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself and how do you get to where you are today?
Oh, wow. Geez. So I guess I graduated from I was born in Brunswick, Georgia. So I'm a Southern girl
Okay.
by way of birth, but a Northern girl by way of growing up. So I grew up in Lewis, Delaware, which is the first town, first state, right? And graduated there and went on to an school at Delaware State University on a basketball scholarship.
Okay.
At the time, I did not have what I like to call the academic fortitude or discipline in order to be a student athlete. I had limiting beliefs. I had I did not have the academic structure in order to balance being an athlete and a student. And so my first year, I had a 1.93.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I mean, who fails art? So
Well,
took
let's say you got an A in basketball.
I don't even know if I got an A in basketball, to be honest with you. Because the second year I didn't go back as a athlete because I figured, I was like, man, I'm not here. It was at the start of semi-pro. So WNBA hadn't even been started yet. So I was like, I need to get my academics. So ended up going, they had the parallel program. So ended up going back to home, which was 45 minutes away from Dover, and went to the community college. It was cheaper for me to go take courses there and then transfer once I got into my major. At that time, I thought I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I wanted to influence the future. And then all of a sudden, my cousin comes home from Gulf War. He looked good in his uniform. And he said, Charm, they give you 3 square meals, they pay for your education, they give you a house, and they pay you. And if you don't have any debt, the money is yours. And so, I thought about it, and he said, don't go in the Army, go in the Navy or the Air Force. Well, Air Force are very particular. They're not rushed for their quotas.
Yeah.
I was rushed because this was a decision that if I'm making it, I need to go. Because if I sit, I may change my mind.
Yeah.
So I ended up going into the Navy undesignated because they didn't have any billets for teachers at the time. And that's what I told them that I wanted to do. And they were like, well, you can be an instructor, but you still have to have a specialty. And at the time I went in as an airman, undesignated. And I like to call myself the glorified janitorial services for the squadron. And then became a hospital corpsman. And from there, I was like, I'm like, I want to make this a career. But do I want to make a career as enlisted or do I want to make it a career as an officer? So remember that 1.93, I still had those limiting beliefs about my testing abilities. And so as enlisted, you have to take a test every time you're getting promoted. And so I had test anxiety, or what I like to call, I didn't properly prepare for the test because I did not know how to study. So but once I was able to make the rank of E5, then and finish up my undergraduate degree, then I inspired to be a commissioned officer. And even in boot camp and even before boot camp, I think I've always was that person to take charge and carry out the plan of the day, if you will.
Yeah.
And so ended up getting commissioned as a healthcare administrator and finishing out my tour here in the Washington, D.C. area as the deputy diversity officer. It was a great experience all throughout. And of course, I've grown and learned and become who I am today. And so I guess that's it in a nutshell.
Okay, well, that's awesome. That's an interesting story. To say, hey, you started off with a 1.93, and now I'm working on my second master's degree.
And Cedrick, it's all what we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Back then it was like, oh, the SATs are biased, and also the people you hang out with.
Sure. Yeah.
So, and subsequently graduated with honors for undergraduate and graduate degree. So anything that you put your mind to it and overcome those limiting beliefs and put a plan together, you can do or be anything that you want to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. So young people that are out there, not even just young people, anyone that's out there, you heard it right from my grandmother used to say, right from the horse's mouth, right? That you can do anything you wanted. It's not a matter of about where you start, right? It's about where you finish, but where you finish is going to be impacted by what you believe and what you tell yourself. So this is awesome. I love that journey. And I was thinking when you were talking about going from enlisted to an officer, I remember, so I was in the Air Force, and we all, Air Force, we know that's the best, but no, but when I was in the Air Force, I remember I went in enlisted, and I remember in basic training, the TI in one class session, they were asking us, what do we want to do with our career? And I said, I want to be an officer. And I was young and brash and bold, and the drill instructor didn't intimidate me, but I was still, my 19-year-old bold self. And he said, well, why do you want to be an officer? I said, well, because I want to be in charge. I said, look, I look at the enlisted people as the workers, and the officers as the people in charge. That's what I want to be. And he did not like that at all. But I said, hey, it is what it is. I mean, that's what I want. Now I had to do some extra duties the next day, but
Wow.
But so tell us something fun and interesting about yourself.
Well, so we all grew up watching cartoons, Tom and Jerry, the Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, and we may have inspired to be have some of the characteristics of those cartoon characters as we're sitting there on Saturday watching them, because of course back when we were growing up, we didn't have a plethora of opportunities of channels to watch. You had certain things. So I am a fan of Wonder Woman. Oh, yeah. So I enjoy collecting items from Wonder Woman, like a bobblehead, pictures. So, my wife knows that any little card or anything that has Wonder Woman on it, it's just going to make my day. And so that's I'm a Wonder Woman fanatic. If I'm dressing up for Halloween, then guess who it's going to be? Wonder Woman. and so that's just an interesting and fun fact about me.
Okay, all right, Wonder Woman. When you said that, for some reason, you remember the Almighty Isis?
Yes, I think
yes,
so.
she came in my mind at first, but I was trying to picture the costume, but now I remember Wonder Woman.
And I have a little backstory as well. Is I had an opportunity to speak for Women's History Month some time ago on the USS Nassau before it decommissioned, and I was walking around the ship asking, just doing a survey of what does Women's History Month mean to the individuals, just to kind of collect and get some information to help with my motivational speech. And so, at the end of the day, what I came up with is that, the reason for Women's History Month is so that we have those women that are in different fields and industries that we can look up to in order to inspire to go as far as our God-given greatness is going to allow us, and endless. And so I wanted my daughter to not look at other women as her inspiration. I wanted her to look at me as her Wonder Woman, to inspire to be not like me, but better than me in areas. And so that's, how I look at Wonder Woman and tell it and use it when I'm speaking, is that you want to be, better. You want to be your child's or your whoever you're mentoring. You want to be their Wonder Woman or your Superman or whatever your alter ego is.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So, audience, I hope you're picking up. We're only in question number 2, and she's already dropping a lot of good nuggets here. So it's going to be a great conversation. So tell us a little bit about Teachable, Learnable solutions.
All right. Well, I'd like to start off first by giving you a little backstory about the name. So as going from enlisted to officer, I always, would always keep my pictures on the wall of my journey from being in ATD school, which is Airman Training School,
Mhm.
and that way, the enlisted it would welcome them in to ask questions, and so I would always share my experience, all of my experiences, whether they're good or bad. They're always a teachable, learnable moment.
Yeah.
And so there's always something to glean, whether it's something what not to do or what to do. So as I was sitting with my mentor in 2014, I was like, what am I going to name my business? And so it came to mind, Teachable, Learnable Solutions. And what we do is we help organizations, individuals, and teams create environments where their employees want to go to work on Mondays and they hate to leave on Fridays, by creating an inclusive environment, by with the DEI&A, which is diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility that we hear so much of now.
Yeah.
That's my sweet spot. And so that is what Teachable Learnable Solutions is about. We do subcontracting with companies, with the federal government, in order to do workforce analysis, looking at your demographics and being able to tell you, to give you a picture of what your demographics look like, and then some areas where you can improve, and some programs, processes, and procedures that you can put in place to mitigate any type of lawsuits that you may have as it relates to people feeling like they've been discriminated against.
Awesome, awesome, exciting stuff, and especially in this day and age, and I guess in any day and age. But since we're here right now, this DEI, and you said A.
Yes.
Okay, I hadn't heard.
Diverse, the diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess my point was that um, this topic right now is really timely in everything that's going on in not only the United States but in the world, and it's also timely in that um, it's helping to empower a lot of people who have been disenfranchised, who have been put on the back burner, or it's helping giving a voice to a lot of people. In other words, right? So that's actually that's awesome. So where's your company located?
We're located in the DMV, the Washington D.C. area, and with the advent of technology, and the posture that we're in, we can do
Travel anywhere.
training, we can do an assessment. When COVID is not limiting flying, and in-person training can be done as well, or assessments can be done, then we're global.
Okay, awesome. And I think I heard you say that you do business not only with corporations but also with federal government.
Yes, yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So scalability then makes it easier for you since you're doing work with the federal government. So what do you say separates your business in this leadership development industry from other businesses?
Me.
Okay, all right.
So, and I say that because, it's my personality, my experiences, my perspective, coupled with lifelong learning, education, and training. And just having a sense of commitment to help an organization, team, and individuals go from performing in an acceptable manner to an exceptional manner. You don't want, I mean, I, every time I went in, change duty stations, and you're taking over from something that someone else has done. Do you just want to be status quo?
Mm.
I didn't.
Yeah.
I want to look at how can I take my morals, my values, and my Navy Corps values and make something more effective, more efficient, and have fun while I'm doing it. And be not just acceptable, but exceptional. So that when we finish, it's like, when I finish at a duty station or organization, they know that I've been there because I've left that piece of me, that personality, that experience, that expertise that I bring to the table. So that's why I say what makes me unique is me and my life experiences. It is I have like, you know, people remember stories, and I have so many stories. That's why it's like, hey, you got a moment? It's a teachable, learnable moment,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah, I like that. I like that, and I love the direct approach. Right? What's the big separator between me and everybody else? Me.
I believe it was Lisa Nichols that says that in one of her motivational speeches, is that we all have a different fingerprint.
Hmm.
And so my fingerprint is different than everyone else's, and how I approach things is different. And so that's my differentiator, coupled with, like I said, my experience. But yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. I really do like that. So what do you say is the best part of owning your own business?
Oh wow. Being able to be creative, seeing something go from an idea and developing it and growing it to fruition. Also just being the owning your own time.
Mm.
You know, going from transitioning from the military to, out of the military, like for over 22 years, I didn't own my own time. Someone else
Yeah.
owned my time, right? You didn't own it. Like at
Right.
any moment, if something happened, you had to answer the call. If you was on vacation and you got a call, if you're in a leadership position, you had to go back, to your command. And
Mhm.
so just the autonomy to be creative, um, and own your own time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, owning your own time in a civilian war is totally different than owning time in military. You're absolutely right. You own a part of it, but Uncle Sam owns almost of it. Which is not,
Yeah,
there's not good, bad, or indifferent. It's just, that's just the way it is, right?
it is. And, I wouldn't change my experience for the world. I mean, if
Mhm.
I, you know, I probably should, at some days wish that I had, completed the whole 30 years that I was able to. But,
Mhm.
there were other plans. So
Right.
here we
Yeah.
are.
Absolutely. I saw you recently posted a video on Facebook tailored to women to help them better understand their car and car parts. Now, I'm going to say
Mhm.
this: you said it was tailored to women, but I'm not the fix-it guy, so I can, excuse me, learn some of those things too. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So, growing up with five, a house of a blended family of five, I am the youngest and I am the only girl. So when I made that post, that video, I was like, man, um, they're really trying to get over on us. And this is a play
mhm.
establishment that I have been going to for quite some time, but since COVID, I didn't go there frequent because I didn't need frequent services for the vehicles. But I've always wanted to um, to prepare myself for someone potentially being biased because I may not know what's going on with the car. So I always ask, can you please explain that to me? But That particular day, all we needed was a plug for the tire. And it went from you have 2 nails to you have, and it's not fixable, to you need a new tire, to you need 2 new tires, to you need 4 new tires. And then, oh, by the way, if we put only 1 tire on, it's going to mess up your transmission. Now, this is true if you put the wrong size tire on your car.
Right.
So if you have a high performing car and and you put the wrong size, then yes, it will mess it up.
Right.
Per, my lit search on Google. And so it was just upsetting because, again, I approach every situation as a teachable, learnable moment. So show me that there was 2 nails in the tire. Tell me why I need 4 tires now. Like, I don't understand. So, the end of that was that I ended up getting the car towed to the Infinity dealer, and it was plugged. The tire was plugged. There wasn't too, they were trying to get over on it. My perception was that they were trying to get over on us because they weren't educating me. They were just trying to sell me. I need to be educated first. If you can educate me on why I need what I need, then there's a chance that I may purchase it and may not, like, for instance, I don't know anything about cameras, but I want a camera. So sell me a camera. What do you mean? Sell me a camera. Tell me why I need a Nikon instead of a Canon. Tell me why I need this lens instead of that lens. Educate me. So when it came to that situation, I just was a little frustrated about, and this is probably the second time that this has happened to me in my life, where they assumed that I didn't know anything about cars. So, and I wanted, how we can do on Facebook. We can go out there and just, share our experiences and our frustration and
Well, I will tell you. So this was my first experience at trying to change the oil in the car. Now I grew up, my dad he worked on cars. My grandfather worked on cars. My uncles worked on cars. They all tried to show me all this stuff, but I could care less about any of that because I said, I'm never going to do it. So I get ready to change the oil in my grandmother's car. Ultimately, I end up letting out the transmission fluid. My wife at the time tried to tell me, my dad doesn't take that long to change oil, and he never took out that many screws. And I was like, I was, again, as my 19-year-old self, I said, go on in the house. You don't know what you're talking about. I got this. So I learned right there. That was not my thing. So when I was watching your video, I was like, see, there's some guys that need this too, including me.
Yeah. Or, just even like, how do you when we were in elementary school, I remember having to write a paragraph on how to change a tire. Right. And it was you had to be very, it was steps. First you do this, second, third, and fourth. And so even, I know how to change. I mean, I know I change oil.
Well, I know now.
Now. Okay. And, I'm like, I can call.
I saw that look on your face like, oh, I know how to do that.
You can call USAA, but what if I was in a situation where I did not have connectivity? What would I do?
Yeah.
And so, I need to know how to change, because, here in parts of West Virginia, going through the mountains, you don't have connectivity. So if you have a flat tire, you're not going to be able to, call anyone because you're not going to have any connectivity. So it's always good to know how to change it.
I'm glad you told me that, so I don't need to go to parts of West Virginia then, because if I can't get AAA, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, yeah, it makes me nervous going that way. I try to have an alternate route to go around the mountains.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. So do you have well, I don't, in your business, do you sell to individuals or is it more to companies and organizations?
So right now I'm sell to companies and like I was mentioning earlier, I do subcontracting for my skill sets or intellectual property that I've gained over the time um, uh, with uh, with the federal government. So um, I, as you mentioned in my bio, I'm taking this finishing up this second master's, so that's taken up a lot of time. I don't want to spread myself too thin, um, to say the least. And
Mhm.
so that is what I'm doing. So I work with companies. I'll see if there's contracts out there and partner with them to add my unique value to their organization to be able to facilitate in that space of the DEI and A.
Okay, awesome, awesome. So, what's been your biggest challenge during your entrepreneurial journey?
Whew, to be very transparent is the challenge has been the shiny object. The
Mm,
what is new? Oh, let me try this because it's that lifelong learning that's in me, and I just love learning. Till I'm like, oh man, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do this, or I need to learn this. I need to learn that. And sometimes just in time learning is not for everyone,
mhm.
for every situation. You need a team of folks to build a team. Get someone that knows how to do that. Know a little bit enough about it that you can direct,
Yeah,
right? And hopefully get someone that can also educate you about it. Like, hey, tell me about this.
yeah.
That way you know that it's trust but verify. And you know that you're getting the best service. So for me, it's just been that has been the challenge because I have so many passions and all of them you can't work on all of them. Can't do all of them.
Yeah, you can't work on all of them at the
Can't
same
work on all of
time,
them.
right?
I can't work on all of them at the same time and still have a life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the other thing is with entrepreneurs is this fear of missing out, right?
FOMO.
Yeah, FOMO. You got to really control that. We have the Black Entrepreneurs Institute boot camp, and I teach a lesson on this FOMO at the end of our boot camp to help entrepreneurs understand that there may be something that's out there, and it may serve you well. It just may not serve you well today.
Right.
So you got to say, you know what, I'm gonna miss out on this today. When I get ready to use it a year from now or 2 years from now, then I'm gonna come back to it. Versus, just everything, because there's a lot of stuff that's out there, and it's all great and wonderful and dandy and all this type of stuff. But at some point, you got to stop doing things and start doing your business.
Right.
Right. So we have a segment on the show, Charmin, that's called Would You Rather? All right. So, round of Would You Rather. So, would you rather meet your great grandparents or your great grandchildren?
My great grandparents.
Great grandparents. All right. And audience, you can always play along with this. Just type in your responses in the comments. Would you rather share a room with your siblings or live alone?
Share a room with my siblings.
Okay. All right. So you're better than me. I'm sorry, kids, but I'm all right. So would you rather eat melted ice cream or frozen watermelon?
Frozen watermelon.
Frozen watermelon. All right. Would you rather be the smartest person in the room or the funniest person in the room?
I'd rather be the funniest person in the room.
Funniest person in the room. All right. All right. Which one would you rather be stuck on? A ski lift or an elevator?
A ski lift.
A ski lift. Oh man, I just can't imagine myself being stuck on a ski lift because I can see how high I am up there, and there's nothing between me and that ground.
Yeah, but when you ask the question, I'm like, well, if I'm stuck in the elevator, I don't have a view, but at least I can see God's creation
Yeah.
while I'm up there, and I can see that someone's on their way to save me. And you didn't put any other things in there like the cable is cracking or any of that.
Right.
So I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
assuming that it's just that I'm just stuck,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so
You're
I'm
just
just gonna
stuck.
enjoy the view.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. My knees just start getting tingling just thinking about being stuck in the sky that high.
And who knows? Maybe I'll have a belt on, and I'll zip line. I'll crawl up, zip line down if there's an
Okay,
incline.
MacGyver.
You know, I mean, yeah. I mean, I have more options.
Sure.
If I had a belt on or
Okay.
something.
All right. I am not getting out of that seat till they get me to the ground. Like, it's going to be tomorrow, Cedrick, before you can get out, or you can zip line down. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, and you can see others around you. When you're stuck in an elevator, you don't see anyone. You don't know if anyone's hearing you. You're just, I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So would you
that's
rather
my
own your own?
rationale.
Yeah, I
Pardon me?
like it. I get it. I get it. Would you rather own your own private island or your own private jet?
Hmm. I think I'd prefer to own my own private island.
Island. All right. A couple more here. Would you rather be a ninja or a pirate?
A ninja.
A ninja. All right. Last one. So, would you rather have $1 million in Amazon gift cards or $100,000 in real money?
$100,000 in real money.
In real money. All right. So I'm getting that million in Amazon because I'm already ordering on Amazon every day anyway, and
Well,
you can buy just about
yeah, but
everything on
see, I
Amazon.
could I could buy my own gift cards, or better yet, I can buy some Amazon options or stocks, and I can have that money go to work for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true. I would say, hey, what I'm going to do is get the gift cards and I'm going to flip them. Back in the day, you used to say, hey, I got these food stamps. You give me this cash. I'm gonna flip it.
Oh, oh me, oh my.
So, that's just me trying to think creatively.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for playing that round of Would You Rather. All right. So, leaders come in different packages with different strengths, Carmen. And what strengths do you believe are important for successful leaders to have?
All right. Self-awareness. Know
Self-awareness.
your limits. Know yourself. Um, because in order to help others get to the places, you got to have some. You got to know what your limits are, what your struggles are, and be honest with yourself. And so, some emotional intelligence comes along with that as well. I think also have the mindset of wanting to develop others. You know, I always in the military, when I got commissioned, was like, hey, I need to give you the opportunity. I need to train you up so that you can take my spot if I'm not here.
Mhm.
Those standard operating procedures, or cross training. So moments where you just shut down the shop and then someone's teaching what they do. I know that you know many organizations like the federal government has really doesn't do any of that. So when people leave, then they leave. They have that corporate knowledge, right? And if they've been there for a while, they take that with them, and they don't have anybody left behind that they've developed in order to be able to take their spot.
Right.
Um, I think also being a good listener.
Mm.
And I haven't always been a good listener, and it is because I'm always thinking about, well, how can I respond? Like, what's my comeback? So for me, full transparency is being a good listener and a good communicator, and being a forward thinker,
Mm.
thinking a visionary. You want someone, leaders think further and wider. They see further and wider. And I believe that's a job.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's like, where do you want, you're the strategic, you're thinking strategically, not in the moment, but strategically. Where do you want to go? Where do you want this to go? How we're going to get there?
Yes. Awesome. I like that. Those are great things. So what Carmen just said, folks, leader strengths, right? Self-awareness, emotional intelligence, have the mindset to want to help others grow and develop, to take your position. Not that you're going anywhere, but just in case, right? Leaders grow leaders. Be a good listener. And finally, be a visionary. Law of navigation says leaders see things before they see farther, and they see before, more, and farther than everybody else. That's really what she's talking about right there. Thanks
I
for.
forgot one.
Mhm.
I forgot one. If I may add another one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a good moral compass.
Oh, we're gonna put that one at the top. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're gonna put that right at the top, right there. So a lot of times, Charmin, entrepreneurs, this entrepreneurial life it has its peaks and valleys, its ups and downs, right?
Mhm.
But sometimes you have those entrepreneurs that want to give up. They want to throw in the towel, right? So what advice would you give someone who's right now asking themselves the question whether they should stay in their business or they should get out of their business?
I would tell them to think about the why. Why do you want to get in the business? In the first place, like what? Because it more than likely it's because of a passion, hopefully, and not necessarily. Some folks get into it because they want to make money and then they want to make quick money. But just think about your why and connecting it to your why. So you have to do some self-reflecting and know that it's okay to take a break, to revitalize, to refresh, to rebrand, have it like a little sabbatical, because you're right. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. And you have we constantly have these little voices in our head telling us, hey, you can't, who are you? You need to do this, you need to do that. And so you need to have some positive self-talk. And so maybe you just take a break, and it's okay. And then come back. And when you come back stronger than ever. You may need to go and just refocus.
Yeah. Mindset is everything, right?
Mhm.
And it really goes back to really the very start of our conversation today. And you talked about, hey, where you were in school, but you knew that there was more inside of you, and it took these things to help pull it out of you and to get you to where you are today. And you have to have that mindset as an entrepreneur, right? And but why is it so hard for entrepreneurs to stay the course?
Well, I can only speak from my experience, right?
Yeah.
Is that one, some, the statistics say that women, make up the majority of entrepreneurship. However, women don't make up they don't make a lot of money. They make, on average, 25K. Hopefully that's going to be changing soon, right? And so it's funding, thinking that you need funding, right? Thinking that, that you definitely need a network and mentors, right? Whether you have a mentor, formal or informal, or whether you have a group of folks, whether it's a mastermind group that where you can have collaborative group think. And I enjoy that type of coaching where it's group think, where you put in a hot seat and whatever your problem is, and then everyone's giving you advice. And again, I'm not the smartest one in the room, because guess what? There are other people there that may know something or know someone that could help out. And
Right.
so that is, I can add to that.
Awesome. Awesome. I
Yeah.
like that. Thanks for the advice. So, folks, Charmin said a lot of good stuff here tonight. And for the entrepreneurs that are out there, you need to make sure that you're writing these notes down. And look, if you're an entrepreneur and you say, hey, I got this licked, I don't need this information, I know you know someone that needs it. I know you know a friend, a colleague, an associate, a family member, co-worker, whatever you want to call them, that needs this information. I want you to just click that share button, right? And let them hear Carmen speak into their life, into their business. So thanks very much for dropping those nuggets. So why is it important for people to continue to grow?
Oh wow. All right. So, it's just like a flower, right? You gotta feed it, you gotta fertilize it, and then it's gonna grow, right?
Hmm.
And so for us, if we stop feeding ourselves with education, information, then we're just gonna be stagnant.
Yeah.
If we did not MS DOS was my first intro to computers, where you
Mm.
had to type the forward slash, the
Yes.
semicolon. And had I known then what I know now, I could have been in the coding, right? And we need more
Yes.
minority females in coding.
Yeah.
But that was intro to coding.
Yeah.
And look at what it has done for us. It's made us be able to do things more effective and a little bit more efficient.
Yes.
And so, we need to grow. I'm a lifelong learner. I'm always, wanting to learn. Um, and so if we stop growing and learning, then it's just like when they tell us when we get ready to retire, like I'm not gonna retire. I'm just gonna take a moment, but I'm gonna still keep active, because if you're not moving these body parts, they're gonna stiff up. So if you're not moving this mind, then it's going to stiff up. So
Hmm.
you just got to keep putting things in it. And we have a plethora of things that we can learn and grow. And it doesn't have to, just how to be, a better wife, a better husband, a better person, personal growth. You can read for enjoyment. You can take up a hobby, but just, learn a new hobby.
Hmm.
Find something that you're passionate with. You're not just sitting there, just being still.
Yes.
We weren't
Absolutely.
created to just be
100%.
still.
Absolutely agree with you 100%. So let's say nobody's home. The dog's gone, the children's gone, everybody's gone. What then? I'm gonna have to go have some of that today because butter pecan ice cream, Bluebell butter pecan ice cream is
Oh,
my
yes.
favorite.
Yes. I forgot to mention that.
Yes. In fact, they are just right down the street from my house.
Hmm.
That's where the company is. Yeah. That's a good dessert. Hey, audience, we're gonna take a break and we're gonna get some.
I think I have some in the freezer.
Okay, all right, but you gotta wait for nobody's home now. um, so give us one or two things that you've learned about yourself, Charmin, since you've been an entrepreneur.
Oh, wow. Mm. As I mentioned earlier, that I have the shiny object syndrome, and that, I have to control that and know that, only concentrate on, you can only be good at many, but great at few.
Right.
Um, Also know that you need a network of people around you. Um, and I mean, if one person did it, then you can do it.
Yes.
If one,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just like, and I have to constantly continue to tell myself that I am a constant progress of improvement. I am by far, I'm not, I have my challenges.
Mhm.
And so I have to always tell myself, if that person did it, I can do it too.
Yes.
You got to get up in the morning, have those positive affirmations. and say, I'm gonna do it.
Yes.
You know? So
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. That's the philosophy that I've always lived by. Some people call it arrogance and all that type stuff, but I've always lived by the philosophy of if any person did it, then I can do it too. So
and who else is gonna be arrogant about yourself than you?
oh, exactly.
I mean, you got to tell yourself that
Yeah.
you have what I like, you know, what a friend of mine says, you have badassery, right? You know, you have, we are all born of greatness. Can
Yes,
we agree on that?
absolutely.
And so it is the greatness that's inside of us. And it's that passion, that why that gets ignited. And it's like a coal, right? So it was implanted in us, and the coal is gray. And it's that passion and that why that when you blow on the coal, right? Or you take, I forget the name of the tool that they used to blow on coals back in the day, right? But when you blow on the coal, it turns red. We need that constant
Mhm.
telling ourselves that we have that
Right.
badassery to keep those coals red inside of
Absolutely.
us. That's why
Yes.
you have to stay connected to those that are gonna love you, those that you can, learn from, those
Hmm.
that you can lean on,
Yeah.
and that can lift you up.
Absolutely. They're gonna challenge
Um,
you to grow. Sometimes you may get stuck. Like, so for example, Angela Hooper Minifield. Love her to
yes.
death. She's a great friend of mine, a business partner. She's one of those people that will challenge me to get outside my comfort zone or challenge me to think about this or think about that, right? And that's why we get along so well. We are straightforward and direct, and I love it, right? I can list several things that she's challenged me on that made me think, and I took action on some of those things, right? And that's it's just one of the things that I really like about her. A lot of people see me and they go, "Oh, well, you've already achieved a whole lot of success, so I can't challenge you on this." But she's not like that. She will, hey, Cedrick. Nah, I mean, she told me one time, Cedrick, I don't think you've been outside your comfort zone last year. And then I had to go and prove her and show her that I was getting outside my comfort zone. I went and registered for Eric Thomas course.
Ah, Eric Thomas, ET.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, absolutely, yeah. And then it stretched me, right? It pushed me to do some other things in my business, right? So I agree with your comments wholeheartedly. Some people, though, Charmin, will run from those people that challenge them,
Right.
and not me. I love it because that's what's going to keep you on your toes. That's what's going to keep you going to a higher level. So folks, we're talking with Miss Charmaine Jacobs here tonight. We have a few more minutes here, and I want to ask you a few more questions. Now, she's been dropping a lot of nuggets and information. I want you to hit that share button because you may not need this, but you know your friend, your colleague, your coworker, your family member that needs this information. They are struggling and they need someone to speak into them to help them. So hit the share button and uh, tag them so that they can go on and listen to this as well to take them to that next level. So, Charmin, you've had a lot of success in your life, and you've done a lot of different things, and but we've also failed at one time or another, right? Um, Tell us one failure that you had and what you learned from that failure.
Wow. So the number one failure that I had that I'd like to share is the failure of public speaking,
Mm,
the failure of talking. I mean, in front of folks. Now, I love to talk, but getting up in front and actually uh, motivational speaking, book reports, things of that nature. Back when I was in school, I feared from those, and so you know, it, and the reason I did is because I did not properly prepare. I didn't have self confidence. about my skill set.
Mm.
So, of course, you know, with the John Maxwell, you have this team. You have this, you know, the speaking curriculum. You have Toastmasters. So you have to develop where you're weak. You have to find some, you know, find a program, organization, or someone, a coach, in order
Mhm.
to make you to get you to a better skill set. And also just do it afraid
Yeah.
and have and also do it and don't always think it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I want everything to be perfect.
Right.
And you know, I don't want a hair out of place, you know,
Yeah.
or if my interrupters are too many, ums,
Yeah.
right? But that's human.
Right.
But the more that we do something that we failed at, it's we're moving forward in that learning
Right.
because we continue to do it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I 100% agree with you there. You got to be willing to, in fact, we did a teaching on this on Empowered Living Network a few weeks ago with the Black Entrepreneurs Institute. And it was talking about going from fearful to fearless,
I like
right?
that.
And a lot of people, I think perfectionism really is a part of a fear tactic, right? Because you want to do something, but you keep going back. Well, I got to make sure that this is perfect. I think it's some fear that's holding you back from saying, "Let me go ahead and put it out," right? Because at the end of the day, you can get it where you think it's perfect. Someone's going to find something in there that's not quite as perfect. Either you didn't say it the way that you meant it to say it, even if all the words were right, you didn't have the right pronunciation at the right time to give the right meaning or context, right? So yeah, I'm one of those people that, hey, I don't worry about the perfection part. I just rather get it out there,
Right.
and just do it. Yeah, so I love that. So um, my final question for you is this: if there was a book that was written about you, what would the title be, one, and what would the summary in the back of the book say about you?
Now this one, wow. Hmm. The title of the book. Let's see. I am unapologetically not for everyone.
Mm, okay.
And the back of the book would be my life stories and experiences that have shaped the way that I see the world. And it's daily. I had an opportunity, and this is just off track, to be in a collaborative book this past year, and it was called Grown Woman Shit. And it's shifting how I think, is what that acronym means. And so, in being a part of that project, what I realize is that as the world is ever changing, and when we talk about diversity and inclusion, equality, accessibility, it's not the surface or the things that you can see, but it's things that that are deeper. It's how you and your perception and your experiences are always changing,
Hmm.
which will, for me, has changed the way that I see the world. You know, and so I think that's what I wrote at the back of the book, is that I'm ever changing,
I
but I'm
like
not for everyone.
I like that. I love it. In fact, some people dream of success and some people just make it happen. And that's my guest tonight, Miss Charmin Jacobs. So Thank you again for being a guest on Talk Leadership with Cedrick. Hopefully you had a good experience. I enjoyed it and loved the conversation.
I had a wonderful experience, and thank you. Thank you, Cedrick. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, audience, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you share this with someone else. Remember that we always have Talk Leadership with Cedrick on Monday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Time, Tuesday nights at 5:30 Central Time, and Thursday edition of Talk Leadership with Cedrick is at 5:30 Central Time. Wednesday, we have Cut the Cord at noon. We're going to help you go to another level. And then on Friday, we're going to bring the pain at 8:30 a.m. with Friday Mental Motivation. Is just going to get you fired up and ready to go into the weekend. This is the only way we know to help you go from ordinary to extraordinary. So thank you guys for tuning in. As I always remind you before we sign off is, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu, and don't be on the menu. Thank you guys and have a good night. Bye-bye.